Okay, we are good to go.
Perfect. Well, welcome everyone to the Corporation of the Township of Ballinger Valley, the committee meeting today. Today is Tuesday, April 2nd, 2024. It is 1:30 p.m. We're meeting in the council chambers, municipal building, and the Zoom conferencing as well. Is there any additions to the agenda? Tracy? Mayor Murphy?
Nope.
John? The only addition was just a letter from the Royal Legion branch, 353 Eganville, that they provided to me. And we'll discuss it under Jason's report. I'll add to new unfinished business in that, but we'll discuss it under Jason's. And that's just for just some assistance in their parking lot, so we can discuss that when Jason's here. Besides that, I did not have anything, so can I have a confirmation of the agenda, please? John, all those in favor? Perfect, thank you very much. Is there any pecuniary interest or the general nature thereof? Seeing none, okay, perfect, so we'll move on. Was there any errors or omissions with the previous council meeting?
No, sir.
Didn't see any issues with the minutes, perfect. Could I have a confirmation of those minutes, please? Jen, that's awesome. All those in favor? Perfect. So we do have a delegation today. Mr. McBain. And sorry, what's your wife's name?
Darla.
Darla, perfect.
You see her on the organizational chart.
Yeah, there's a lot on the organizational chart. No, that's great. So I'll turn over the time to you, and it's just you're here last time and it just carries on forward. So we'll turn everything over to you and welcome to Miss Valley today.
Well, thank you very much.
Welcome back.
It's a pleasure to be back. Yeah, actually, and I brought some help with me this time.
Some backup.
Yeah, my back.
He's the muscle.
So I hope you've all had a chance to read the presentation over the weekend. I know the last time I was here, you wanted me to get right to the nitty gritty, so I don't know if that's the case today, or if you'd like me to start from the beginning and work my way through.
No, I'd actually, honestly, I think I liked your presentation and just kind of quickly walk us through that.
Okay.
And I thought it was actually a well-done presentation. I think it's important for you to walk through what you actually provided to us.
Okay, thank you very much.
No problem.
But just quick, we did all get it and read it, but I think it is important. And I was saying earlier that this is so great. This is a great slide deck that we can refer back to in 6 months when we forget something and we can go, oh, wait a minute, Jim provided that. So,
Well, that's good. And keep in mind too, that anytime you have a question, just pick up the telephone or send me an email and it'll be there for them.
okay.
Okay, so we'll begin, and it's just the slide one is just the introduction. I was hoping to introduce my whole management team today, but unfortunately, our operations manager, Allison Cozier, is not available. She has to do the work while we come and have the fun. So this is my general manager, Darla McBain, who happens to also be my wife, my best friend, my partner in life. So we're together. So when you get one, you get
I
the other.
don't think Dave introduces me like that.
The first chart I'd like to go through is the organizational chart, and you're quite correct, Deputy Mayor. It's a little complicated and full of information, but basically it's there for your review at your convenience. It outlines our organizational structure and it breaks it down as to who does what. And I think that's important for you as council folks to be aware of what you're getting for your dollar and who's doing what for you. If you have any questions about that, please feel free to ask now. It just identifies the management team at the top, their duties and responsibilities, and the staff that work in this area. When I say this area, I'm talking about Renfrew County municipalities that we service up here. This does not include, I don't think, what we do in Lanark County. Okay, so there's two separate entities, but basically this is what is servicing the Renfrew County contracts. Any questions on that? Nope. Okay, we'll move down the line. So we're getting into the presentation now, and I think that was asked, and I don't know if I answered it adequately. How is a complaint addressed? What's the process for that? So there are ways that complaints are received, and if you look at the chart, there's two options. One is that they come directly to MLES, Municipal Law Enforcement Services, by two methods: either calling the complaint line, which is provided on the handout, 613-281-3773. And I know the mayor likes to put that number out there, and we appreciate that.
I know it will.
Yeah, and also the email. Now, this email is different from the ones that we use to communicate back and forth. This is for complaints. This is what we expect the public, if they're sending their complaint by email, that's how we would appreciate them doing it. There is another option. They can call the township number, or they can come in personally. As you do, your worship, we request that they deal with us direct for a couple of reasons. One is we know what demand information to require. Name, address, telephone number, basically the brief nature of the complaint. Helps us formulate what is our action plan going to be, classification, what kind of a complaint is it, animal control, noise, property standards, zoning, whatever. And that determination is made on the spot when we get the complaint, because our dispatcher contacts the complainant back, usually within 2 hours on a regular day. Weekends, we prioritize the calls. And if it's one that needs immediate callback, we will call back regardless of time or day or night, and deal with it that way. So we would encourage the public, your constituents, to use our complaint system, our numbers, rather than tie up your municipal staff answering those. We're going to have to go back 9 times out of 10 anyway to gather the information we need to further the investigation.
And I could see somebody coming in wanting help from our amazing admin staff. But I think that getting the information straight from the source is #1 priority. And even over the Easter weekend, you know, there was an issue with a dog, and I got the phone call and I said, you phone, let them know exactly what's going on. And I believe somebody phoned them back within an hour, if I'm not mistaken, which is,
That would be Darla.
okay,
On the
so,
holiday long weekend, the phones are always answered.
but I think that there is a benefit to not having a middleman. Because I would have phoned and said, I don't know where the dog is right now, and I'm not sure what they've done right now, so, yeah.
And it ties up your staff, and they don't know exactly what questions to ask. And the investigation starts the moment we call them back.
Right.
So any questions on that? Okay, we'll move into the investigative process. The process, there's 2 types of investigation processes that we follow. One is for normal complaints, noise, animal control, those types of complaints. And the other one deals with more of the property issues, when we talk about that later. They are a bit more complex because they are legislated, as I referred to last time we met and talked about it. So we have to follow a legislated process that's dictated to us in either the Building Code Act or the Municipal Act. So basically, the ordinary complaint, dog at large, noise complaint, that type of stuff. I'll just go through it very quickly. And if you have any questions, just let me know you have a question, and I'll stop right there and we'll answer it before we forget. Okay, so once a complaint is confirmed as being a bylaw related issue, sometimes they are not. Okay, so we determine whether it's a bylaw related issue by the call taker, which in most cases is Darla or Allison. The complaint is dispatched to our patrol officer for investigation. 9 times out of 10, that will include a site visit that day, which means the officer is going to attend to the scene where the violation or the incident took place. And at that time, upon his arrival, the officer will attempt to make contact with the involved person, not the complainant necessarily. We've already spoken to the complainant, but we'll attempt to make contact with the involved person, or what could be the accused down the road, or the violator. Sometimes that happens, sometimes that doesn't. As you know, bylaw takes place mostly during the day. There's not a lot of after hours bylaws unless it's really a serious emergency. So it's hard to get people for a complaint that happened after hours or on the weekend during daytime. People work. Most families are two mom and dads are working. So getting them during the day. So the officer, if he's not successful in meeting up with the subject person at that time, he'll leave a business card in a conspicuous place, usually on the front door or whatever door we determine looks like their primary entrance, or on the windshield of a car, because sometimes people will not answer the door knowing bylaws at the door. So they just stay inside, they don't do much, so we leave it. You're gonna drive someday, so we're gonna leave the card on your windshield. Eventually, when we do make contact, the alleged offense will be determined after we speak with the violator. It's either gonna be confirmed or substantiated, determined to be unfounded, or it requires further investigation to determine its status. So those are the three categories that it goes into immediately upon investigation beginning. So initially, if a violation does exist, the officer will gather evidence, he'll speak with all the witnesses involved, he'll obtain written statements as required, and if possible, take photos illustrating the violation. The initial report dealing with the officer's findings and observations, including whatever photographs the officer has taken, will then be submitted to the supervisor for review. The supervisor will review the officer's report and in consultation with the officer, determine the appropriate action to be taken based on the seriousness of the violation and the nature of it. In determining what is appropriate action, several factors are considered. Previous related history that's on file with bylaw enforcement. As we are new to this area, there's not a whole lot of history that we are aware of, so we create a new history. A typical example would be barking dog, dog at large, animal control bites. We very seldom will act on the first complaint without a history. Sometimes we require a history dealing with a dangerous, vicious dog, for instance. If there's no history, then we have to walk our way through that. Only in extreme cases, which we've dealt with here, we took immediate action on resoluting that problem. So previous history is important. And are there any aggravating or mitigating circumstances that would impact on our decision making? Also, another consideration is the attitude of the violator. If the violator is, geez, I'm sorry, didn't know, then we slip into a different mode. If it's confrontational right from the get-go, sometimes it is, unfortunately. Not often, maybe 10% of the calls that we handle, generally speaking, are confrontational right off the get-go, and some are very, very nasty. Our officers have been spit on, they've been run at with vehicles, they've been run over with vehicles, they've had things thrown at them. It's a difficult situation in some cases, and what's very important to us, Darla and I, as the owners of the company, is officer safety. So all our officers wear bulletproof vests. Not so much that we think they're going to get shot, hopefully not, but they will also repel a knife or a fork or a pencil or a pen. Okay, so anything can be used as a weapon, pitchfork. Okay, these are all things that we've done. So this is what I'm scratching out of the top of my head. So there's that aspect of it, and we wear body cameras. And we have done so for 2 years. Okay, so that's something that we started, yes.
So it's good that all officers on all visits wear it, because then someone can't say, oh, you wore that because you thought I was dangerous.
Yeah, no,
Good.
that's our policy, and I'm gonna tell you why. It's a matter of self-preservation. When you get into a situation where it's one person on one person, it's a he said, she said, you don't know who's telling the truth. We have a belief that our officer is truthful. Okay, but then on the other side, you as a municipality, if you're the adjudicator and try to figure out who's telling the truth, you say, okay, the first thing we're gonna do is check the body cam.
And that's difficult even when you're talking about neighbor on neighbor
Oh,
arguments or anything. So I think it's very prudent to be wearing Kevlar at all times, and I agree with you. But that's why.
Yeah.
Our
That's why we're
police,
hiring him.
well, our police forces wear
Yeah.
Kevlar, whether they're on the beat or they're in ETF, it doesn't matter, you're wearing a bulletproof vest. But I think body cams have really changed the game, especially in court, to say, no, that's not exactly how it went down. So I think it's good practice all around.
So we started that about 2 years ago, I think, and maybe longer,
I
right?
think it's, 3 or 4 years
Oh,
ago,
okay.
we did every officer now that's and if we find that there's a very aggressive, there'll be 2 of us. We'll
At
never,
least
ever,
once.
we'll never send somebody, if there's a history and we know it, we'll always send 2 officers.
We've serviced our clients from anywhere from 20 years to a year.
Right.
Okay, so we're getting to know the communities, we know where the trouble spots are, we know who are the misbehaviors. So we say to the officers, do not go alone. you go there with backup,
Right.
and we determine the level of security. And we've been fortunate, with respect to that. We haven't had any serious injuries. We have had some minor injuries, but nothing serious. I don't want to dwell on that. That's the negative side of it. Okay, that's rare, but it does occur. I think it's important that you know that.
For sure.
Okay, because you are gonna get those complaints. And just as a matter of interest, the body camera, in the past 2 years, we used it 4 times. In different municipalities to defend our officers' behavior on the road,
Mhm.
yeah. And once you say, oh, I've got a body, oh, well, you know, okay, they go away quietly,
Right.
yeah. Because otherwise, they say, he said, she said, and
Yeah, it's a primary source, right?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
so we're very pleased about that. Okay, moving down the road here, oh, and these things, I'm sorry. Well, yeah, so that was all about what is appropriate action, right? So we've talked about the appropriate action. What I like to express too is what is our goal? What is the goal of bylaw enforcement as I see it? Okay, our goal is to resolve the issue and prevent it from continuing or reoccurring. And the question is, how do we do that? Okay, that in itself is a difficult enough program. But we like to do it. Our first choice is voluntary compliance. Voluntary compliance means we've had a conversation with the violator and we have provided the violator with the options available to them for whatever violation they've committed. And we will work with them, providing they cooperate towards the positive conclusion of the offense. Okay, we will work with them, and sometimes it takes longer than we hope or want. But we feel it's worth it that we're getting voluntary compliance rather than imposed compliance.
Well, and I liked your 3, things that could affect. Those are,
Yeah,
because those are number one, very real right now, right? Financial and available resources.
Yeah.
But then taking into consideration somebody's age.
Mhm.
So if the lawn isn't mowed, let's think about how we're going to mitigate this without making it punitive.
exactly. And that comes with the experience of the area, right? And that's why we know who is financially strapped and they have no money.
Everybody,
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, so everybody has this issue. So how are we gonna solve that? So let's talk about the person who's got the 4-foot high grass and no money, no lawnmower, no nothing. How you gonna do that? So getting a contractor, when I say available resources, try to find a contractor who doesn't already have contracts and is booked all week long to do that job. It doesn't work. So we municipal law established a secondary service, which is assisting these people. And we charge a very low rate to do just that. And in that case, we would issue a property standards order. They would not comply. We check with the CAO, in this case, that's my supervisor, my boss. And I say, can we put this on the taxes? So now they have a time to pay, but they're gonna pay eventually. All right, and if that seems to be working, I hope council continues that process because it is the only way sometimes to get things done.
well, and it does give people a year.
But pardon me?
It does give people a year.
That's right,
Right.
yeah.
So,
Sometimes you can't come up with $35 to cut the grass. Yeah, so what are you gonna do? Just let it grow and grow and grow? Then our hands would be tied.
yeah,
So we are trying to solve the problem and we put people on the list. So we will continue to do that for the season,
right,
but we don't cut it to the standard that they would expect if they were
Homeowner.
right. It's not a golf green.
that's exactly right.
Okay,
Yeah, okay, so that's how that works. If it is determined that corrective action is required to achieve compliance, the officer will advise the violator of the process that will be taken to achieve compliance, which is the process I've just described to you. What is considered appropriate action? Well, some cases can be solved with education. We make them aware of the bylaw, provide copies of them. We very seldom provide a whole copy of the bylaw. We
Yeah.
provide a
that'd
concept.
be pretty overwhelming, I
Well,
think.
yeah, and I'd have to start billing you for that. I don't think
Yeah.
you want to go there. So we provide just the basic whatever the violation is, we give them a copy of it. Sometimes I'll get to this one on top of the other ones. So education, number one, provide them with a copy of the bylaw, educate them. Warning, if it's a first offense and they show concern and they're willing to make amends, warning is suffice. We're not charge driven. But sometimes that's the way it has to go in order to achieve compliance or set a deterrent to affect future behavior, put a stop to it.
Right.
Otherwise, it becomes repetitive. And now when we issue an order, I'm kind of getting it overlapping into the property standard. It's basically the same, except we have to follow the steps, the legislative steps that I referred to last week or last month, I guess it was, when we were talking about the difference between the existing bylaw and the older and the new bylaw. So the charge is always the last resort. We don't want to get tied up in court. Then you start talking about doing a court brief. Latent charges, sometimes a part 3 information, which it takes 3 or 4 hours to do, which means back and forth to Pembroke a few times. Laying a part 3 information also, it means serving a summons and requiring the person to court. So that's why it's important that most of your bylaws, for the most common offenses, have part 1, Provincial Offences Act, set fines, short form wordings. Then we give them an option. You can pay this relatively understandable and payable fine, or you can go to court and take your chances on the big one. Okay, so that's how that works. A charge would be laid if the violator ignored 2 or more warnings. That's our policy, not written in stone. A typical case would be mom with small children. Hey, Darla, the kids open the door, dog's gone. Okay, and there's no intent there. But we work at trying to create corrective action. Well, you can lock your door, number one, put a lock above where the kids can't reach. So this is the type of education that takes place in that type of a situation. Moving down the line, there regards.
And we can only charge also if they want charges laid. Like, let's say the dog, there's a neighbor and it's constantly in their yard and you phone and they said, we can't take it anymore, or we don't want this to happen. It still falls on them to provide the evidence, because it's them that sees the dog and can identify it with the neighbors. So then when they're asked, you might have to go to court. No. So they'll live again for another 6 or 8 months, and we go once or twice and it's like, look, they're not listening to us. So we do need the evidence, and that's whoever hits a complainant at that time. Yeah.
Okay, with these types of violations, the offense has to be witnessed by somebody.
Yeah.
Okay, so if our officers don't see it, and 9 times out of 10 we don't. Okay, on the noise or the dogs or animal control, any of that stuff, we don't see it. It's responding to a complaint. So the complainant has to be willing to go to court. So we ask that question at the first instance. Now, sometimes they go all the way down the line, and for several different reasons, they'll change their mind, and that's outside of our control. We'll advise the Crown, and the Crown takes whatever action the Crown wants to take. But once we put it into the system, it's not our control anymore.
Right.
Okay. Have I gone, am I okay?
Yeah, well, we're running a little late now our department heads are.
Okay, let me just say this. The process, all that's left is the process for property standards and clean yards. It's basically the same, except you input the process that's described in the legislation.
Right.
Okay, and I've already referred to that. So having said that, that will outline for council and anyone else who's listening is the complaint process, followed by how we conduct investigations. That's it.
And again, this slide deck is so useful. And later on, again, 6 months from now, when somebody phones me and I've forgotten, I'm gonna keep this slide deck just so I can say, no, this is the way it goes. Because again, there is this misunderstanding that you and Darla are just driving around the township.
Oh, no, we don't do that.
Trying to
We've got enough
spot.
on our plate to
Yeah,
look after what you want us to look
That's
after,
right.
and create work for ourselves, believe me.
And
And
it's all complaint driven.
yeah,
And it's all confidential.
Yeah.
We never will we ever disclose the identity of the complainant. property standard zoning, those issues, once I confirm that there's a valid complaint, I'm the complainant. So that I don't even need anybody at that
Right,
point.
well, and you know when it's neighbor on neighbor generally, but I think one thing that Brent was very interested in when it comes to the property standards is the municipality, like us keeping ourselves
Mhm.
in good shape. So, and I think that that's a very important lesson for council to know that we could have a complaint made against us.
Well, it's no different. A good example is look at the roads crew on Don Street. It's like Jason guys completely overhauled that entire.
Yep.
Storage section, right? And it looks fantastic now, which that was a eyesore for a bunch of years, right? So like,
Mhm.
we're gonna be mandating things such as bylaws. Well, we have to hold ourselves to a standard, no different when we go in June. That maybe our priorities as a council are gonna look at things like, oh my goodness, like we need to either update this because we hold other people accountable for it, but for our own property that. Then we aren't, so we have to hold ourselves accountable, right? So that's the biggest thing. We have a road tour coming in June as well, just for all the department heads and council and stuff go around, but no, actually, and I actually thought this presentation it walks through it quite well, and I really like that you guys actually focus on the voluntary compliance. It's like as a landlord, that's what we do all the time. You'd rather work with people that come in with a hard hand. No one likes big government.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing, and the biggest thing for on your end, I think the body cams makes sense for you guys, especially you have to go through the court proceedings. Like, so it's not he said, she said. You guys are one-to-one correspondence all the time.
Mhm.
So it makes sense, but I appreciate you guys took in the financial available resources and the time and age, and like each situation is different, right? And we have that throughout our municipality as well.
Yeah.
So, no, I actually thought it was, and I like that, and that's the biggest thing for walking through the presentation, was that we were able to walk through it as a council. I think it's good for ratepayers to be able to see it. This is the actual procedure steps that we don't have, you guys aren't going around just looking for issues, looking for problems. Because that creates more of a headache for everyone. It's like, we're a complaint-based system and it has to stay that way. So,
Yeah.
does Tracy have anything to add?
She's frozen right now.
No, I
Okay.
don't.
There, she's still there.
You don't have anything, Tracy?
I think she
Oh,
said
she's-
no.
oh,
I'm
okay.
here.
Oh.
I can't talk very well. My mouth is frozen.
Oh, okay, that's all right. Did you have any questions or anything?
No, I'm good.
Okay,
Everything's
Sounds-
straightforward.
sounds good. John, you got anything?
No, I feel this is you're gonna take good care of us and I should only hear from something and hear from a complainant. If they have a problem with you, then they might come back to us and we'll deal with that.
That's correct, and that's what we appreciate too. And I
That
think,
better not happen.
no, well, I can't guarantee that. You do get complaints, but we wear body cameras.
Yeah.
Besides any questions for Jim or Darla, was there any other additional questions for the bylaws that were proposed as well, or?
I
I
didn't have any.
didn't have anything that's specific and stuff like that for Jim or Darla, or any comments on my end.
So does committee recommend bringing them back to council at the next meeting for
Yeah,
passage? or-
Well, I was fine with them if you,
No, I'm good with them in that, so like, so if you bring them forward to that'd be the April 16th meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah, so just bring them forward for that for discussion.
and you reviewed them and you didn't,
No, actually, you got the
latest
the
and
latest
greatest.
version.
yes.
So as I update them, this is my starting point now. There's a couple of things we put in there that are unique. I won't get into the details now, but certainly, I do want to say one thing. I want to thank you for allowing us to come and make up our two presentations. We'll come anytime you want to have us. And I think that the information that we're conveying to you and to the public will hopefully make our job a little easier. They'll understand us. We're not to be feared. They should understand that we're here to work with them to solve a community problem, and we're not picking on anybody. Because we have no ties specifically, and we don't know anybody. Everybody's treated the same way.
Now, wait a minute, you mean our bylaws aren't proprietary? You're just gonna take them and use them elsewhere?
No, but on that point, that's an interesting point. Most municipalities always like to personalize it a little bit.
Yes,
So when I submit a bylaw to you for review, it's a suggestion.
Yeah.
Of course, council has the authority and the availability to do whatever you want with it. So ultimately, whatever you create is what I'm gonna enforce.
Well, and again, to Brent's point, is that, you know, when we get a complaint, there are weeds around a light standard, blah, blah, blah. We have to remember that if we're putting in these bylaws that are, I mean, they're not draconian, but they are serious, like, you know, we want things to look nice. Well, we have to make sure things look nice too.
That's true. Yeah.
And that is, when we do other townships and we go about the long grass and the open storage, they'll say, well, what about the town doesn't clean? And it goes right back. And then we say, okay, we'll mention that, and we do mention it to the town, and
And usually the
Yeah.
complaint is specific, eh?
it is.
Like, because you live on Bonners Street, okay, you don't complain about the long grass in the park at the other end of the town.
Right.
You talk about the one that's next door to you.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
we've dealt with those issues, and fair is fair, right? And that's what you want.
But that, I think that our residents need to know that, yes, this bylaw is going to be passed, but we understand as a council
Mhm.
that when we see something, that we've got to take care of it as well, or when we get a complaint about our properties, we can't be like, well, our staff are busy. You know,
Yeah.
we have to make sure that we have our priority lists as well.
And that's why the clean yards in particular is so
Yes.
crucial.
Yeah,
And I'll tell you
Yes.
why, because we have the ability to, you need more time, why do you need more? Well, it's been raining for 2 weeks. Okay, well, we don't cut the grass when it's raining.
Right.
Okay, so, okay, we'll give you another 2 weeks. So that's how it works. I mean, we're not out there to penalize and to criticize or any of that sort of stuff. It's to get the job done and yet still maintain some sort of relationship with the people involved.
yeah, and some of them are older, so they might have a son coming up on a weekend to help them and say, okay, I know it's due in 3 days, could I have an extension? Well, of course. You know, and we work with them and they're happier, because a lot of old people, as soon as you say their yard is messy, they start crying and they take it very seriously and very hard. So you try to work with those people that can be comfortable saying, no, we're gonna work with you.
I like Jim's example better where it rained for 2 weeks. Wonder if we can make that happen.
Perfect. Well, any other questions from council?
Nope.
No.
Thanks so much for coming
Yeah, I
back.
appreciate you guys coming back
Yeah.
again for a second.
Yeah,
Thank you.
call us anytime and thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
It'll take me a second to. Yeah, pull that out.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Tracy, got that?
She's there. Okay.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thanks, Darrell. Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you.
Oh, I stopped sharing.
Oh, I thought when Jim put his down,
No, and I have a not sharing, like I have her on my screen, so I assumed she was up there.
that's weird.
That is very.
Here, are you looking for me?
No, we just can't see you on the TV screen.
Oh, okay. That's weird.
Tracy, you're
I
just
see
gonna
you
have. to
guys,
follow
so that's important.
question.
No.
Hi, Daryl.
Daryl, welcome to council today. How are you? I appreciate your nice long-winded report today. It's nice to see 2 in a row.
Two in a row. Well, thanks to Annette. She extended it for me here.
Well, I mean, go through your thing. The Housing Enabling Fund is paramount. So thank you for that. I think we really needed to read the report on what would be the process if we got some of these funds. And the fact that they've taken it from 200 million to 850 million. I mean, this is paramount to us. And I liked your funding strategy, but we also have 15,000 from EGC. Which I think,
And our needs are 18. Oh, no, what's our need?
184.
That 10%, that's good.
Yeah. But I think that was, I always enjoy your reports, Daryl, but that was that's very, very, very important.
So I guess my report's fairly self-explanatory. Did you want to talk to this fund thing, or you've already?
I can. It sounds like committee is supporting the recommendation, which will come to council because it'll be a sole source. And it's a sole source, obviously, because of timing. The application is due by the end of this month.
Right now,
You know, we've been working on it since November to get this proposal together, to get everything ready, knowing that the funding was coming and knowing that there was going to be expectations. I know a lot of other municipalities, they're probably, you know, didn't see the extra money that was going to be coming forward. And so we're thinking, well, there's not enough in there to fund more than 6 projects, so we're not going to spend time on this. So I'm glad we hung in there, because, you know, I think that ups our chances. It's always competitive. And I think the spending of the dollars, even if we didn't get the funding, which we should know by July, it does happen, like they want you, that's why we have to spend it ahead of time before we even know if we have the funding, because we gotta be ready to go in July.
already,
And
yes.
so, we'll know in July if we get it, and if we don't, obviously, we're not gonna spend the additional, 200 some thousand to do the design and stuff like that. We're just gonna have all the studies ready to go. But if we're unsuccessful this round, this information is still good for, you know, the future, the expansion, the
Exactly.
needs.
Yeah, it's not.
You know, any development that comes up, we have these studies now and any new funding that comes out. So it's not, even if we were unsuccessful, the money is still spent in a good spot. And I think, using federal dollars, using EGC dollars and using a small amount of water and sewer reserves,
Yep.
you know, is a nice way to put the project
Well,
together.
I think it's paramount that we move forward with it, and that's my opinion, because the biggest thing is that you see across all municipalities, everyone's falling behind in all their assets. So any way,
Oh, yeah.
in any way we can do to get ahead and have shovel ready projects, especially in this one, like we started at $200 million fund, now it's up to 800 million, and we're already in the weeds for it. It's 100% makes sense. It's a tight commitment, so I understand the single source, and but the thing is like my opinion on it is just let's get it done, and let's just move forward and keep rolling. Like
That
we're prime municipality for it. It
That
makes sense.
report's not gonna go stale.
No.
So if there's a fund from, I don't know, the Ministry of, we don't know yet. And this falls into it, then you can take this off the shelf and say, we're ready to go.
Yes, sir.
And,
So-
and in all fairness, we even talking about John Street as well.
Oh.
Since I was on council, I'm sure it's predated me on the previous council as well.
Yeah.
So like the thing is I think this is the right time, and we gotta really keep an eye on it. So it makes sense.
Oh, I think I've been joking since 2014 that the Eganville leader might not have water at some point, right?
And it's
It's been a
water,
long time.
it is water,
Sewer
sewer
and
and
storm,
stormwater.
yes.
It does also involve Jason. He's got some significant stormwater infrastructure as well.
Mhm.
So I know we're using the federal funding toward it, but a lot of it is also storm, so.
Yeah,
No, it makes total
Yeah,
sense,
it's-
and like, where they
Yeah.
go prime for it, so.
but when I read it, I'm like, oh,
So
we also
so
have
that
this
that'll
little seed
come.
money.
So this will come this evening then?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Sounds good. Just wanna make sure we're moving along with it.
Yeah, because the 16th would be a little late.
Yeah. Well, no, exactly. It's tight turnaround. John, go ahead.
And members of staff that would assist Daryl in getting this done, they're already in place. We used to have, Dana did a lot of this sort of thing before, and so who are members of staff who do grant application readiness?
Yeah, so this one is very technical, so it depends on the grant. Dana is still available to assist, and because she's at Public Works now, is really focused on grants for Public Works, including this one, because it does do stormwater, so she's involved as well.
Okay,
You know, Sarah's been doing a lot of our community development and other grants and things like that. You know, I'm here if anyone needs me. I'm overseeing, having conversations. Because this one is so technical, I've definitely had a little bit more of a hand in it, because because of sort of the technicality and the consultants and the information that
Yeah.
we need, and it's a big deal, like the infrastructure and the dollars, so, yeah, so I think we're gonna work together as a team, Jason, Daryl, Dana, myself.
Well, it's a
and,
quick
yeah.
turnaround in that, like,
Yeah,
it's,
we
you
are
need,
done,
it's
yeah.
like anything, you need all hands on deck,
Mhm.
especially when they go from 200 to 800. They're
Mhm.
serious about spending the money, and
They are.
thing is,
Yeah.
and they've shown support to small rural municipalities, 100%. I think it makes sense for us to,
Yeah,
okay,
Yeah,
For sure.
yay.
Good job.
sounds good. Tracy? Tracy, do you have anything for Daryl?
You just got a thumbs up.
Perfect.
No, I don't. Nothing.
Daryl, have yourself a great day. Anything else for us?
No, that's it.
Perfect.
Great,
Thanks, Daryl.
thanks, Carol.
He has a lovely smile when he's just finished his annual.
Oh.
review.
He's so good at his job.
Okay, we'll bring in, I saw Jason.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Jason. Jason, you're up.
Don't forget about the Legion.
Yep, we're here.
Hi, Jason.
We'll talk about it at the end. It's just a request from the region for some crack filling and hot pad repairs, just for the parking lot. So we can talk about that at the end. But go through your report, Jason. It's no problem.
All right, everyone had a good Easter. I know we did, no snow.
What? Why are you cursing yourself then into tomorrow?
Tomorrow's good.
You're really,
Tomorrow evening.
No, I keep telling him it's gonna hit Renfrew and Petawawa and just skip us. That's what I keep
Well,
saying.
we're not on the list. Apparently it's going around Bonashir Valley and North Algonquin Wilberforce, because we're not on the list.
Perfect. Okay, so our Zaro Road tender came in. We had three contractors. So I guess we'll talk about it later, or are you gonna talk about that, we're working them?
I have a resolution prepared for
Yeah.
this evening's council meeting, unless you had any concerns that went against our engineer's recommendation.
No, I have not.
No, seemed pretty straightforward, to be honest.
Just as a matter of, just for my brain, you had 8 show up and only 3 tender, correct?
6, I believe.
6 and 3, okay. I'm just out of curiosity with pricing and everything else these days.
Yes.
It's interesting to know who's coming to the site visit. They're mandatory, right? That was a mandatory, okay.
Yeah.
And then actually tendering. Interesting, thank you.
Well, the next item is the ditch days and community cleanup. So, that will be on Saturday, the 20th.
Yep.
And Saturday, the 27th. So the Sand Road Light will accept bags.
It's fantastic. I already have 1 bag.
It's quite surprising how many residents will go around. looking for roads and ditches, especially now with everything being bought off already.
Well, it's
And dry.
like an early spring too, right?
Yes.
Besides like potentially tomorrow and a couple days next week or whatever, it's
But even
fairly
our,
dry.
our ditches are dry, which is so unusual. I even got to fish my T4s out of them, right, Sandra?
And we've been staring at the litter since Christmas.
Yes,
For sure.
Sounds good, so
Yes.
carry on like usual.
So then the February waste site report.
Mhm.
It has been quite significant with the nice weather, right? So everyone's.
Well, a lot more spring cleanup early on too.
serious, okay, I cannot believe, so we started this in our home before Christmas. Downsizing, taking stuff to the clothing bag, you know, just general maintenance of the house, the property. So these numbers don't surprise me because I've heard other people saying, I'm doing a decluttering. So it's amazing.
But I think you're gonna see even more, I think you're gonna see even more brush get brought this year, and the reason
Yeah.
is because it's so dry and the fire ban's on so early, that you're gonna see more people instead of
Yes.
burning it just in their campfires and stuff, you're gonna see more people just bring it.
Yeah.
It's fine, just needs more mulch for the municipality, but
That's right, yes, and that stuff breaks down really quick.
100% it does, yeah.
But even the we numbers, right?
Yes.
That's surprise, like, yeah, anyway.
Yeah, they fill.
and appliances, and I don't know, it's pretty interesting.
We participated in a meeting with Product Care for the lighting program. So it, it details on how much is collected for bulbs and then what the township gets back in a rebate.
Okay,
We've also been involved with the county transportation master plan.
the most confusing thing that I wish that we'd named it something else. Because I have had more questions about the transportation plan than I care to tell you about, because there are quite a few people out there that are thinking this is about buses, cabs, etc. when we're talking about roads. I wish they'd called it something else. Because transport, like, there is, it's absolutely correct. It is a transportation plan, but that's not what I would take from it necessarily if I didn't know exactly
Right.
what the county meant. Yeah. Yes.
Circular materials, we did meet with the, discuss the services for Blue Box transition. And we're still working on that, as we speak.
Jason, just one other thing.
Yes,
Thank you for including the notes about how these fit into our strategic plan, our priorities. I think it's very important in the things that we do to speak back to the work that we all did
Right.
as a group,
yes,
right? So that just in case I've forgotten one, or Brent's forgotten one, or John or Tracy, you've let us know this is part of this priority that you set as a council and that we set as a family,
right,
right?
sure. The public works crews, they've been doing, maintenance on the plow equipment for, so it to be just hooked on and ready to go for next year. We've been, cleaning up some shoulders and that kind of material, getting that all picked up, along the roadways, and, you know, we've been patching, cutting trees. We're actually got the brushers going. A good time to do it, right? You can see everything, that's all the obstacles when there's no tall grass or leaves on the trees, so it's been going quite well. So the eclipse on next week, on Monday, we will be working till noon, but if an emergency arises, we will return to work.
Let's hope there isn't one.
One other item is the new plow truck.
I can't even.
It's been, the rad went out of the truck. So it's been down, early March.
For a month. Almost.
That's the same one we replaced the transmission.
Yes,
That's why-
the clutch.
So this is also warranty work, but it's still out of service.
Yes, yeah,
And I'm going to speak to what I said when the clutch went out of it. When you're talking about an actual clutch imploding within the chamber, it wasn't the slave, it wasn't the master, it was the actual flywheel. I said at the time, I hope that this isn't, or whatever he said, that's why we call them lemons. I hope that this isn't foreshadowing, and I think it was really smart to buy that extended warranty,
yes,
knowing now what we didn't necessarily know when we took ownership of it.
that's right.
I am really, I like when I come in, this is why I don't come into the office as often as I should maybe. Because somebody will inevitably catch me in the hallway and say, oh, Jen, I should probably tell you something.
So then what's the time, what's the expected timeline to get that back up and running?
It's, the rad is supposed to be in, today.
And then they come and install it, or we have?
The truck's been down
Oh,
at
okay,
the garage.
yeah. Sounds good.
And
I hope if they ordered a rad, they ordered the rad hoses and like, I hope it's just a re and not a,
well, see, they're special, well, not special, they're the bottom of the rads are actually cut out, because the PTO shaft for the hydraulic pump goes through the rad,
Really?
yes. So that's why,
Is that to cool it?
yes. No, sorry, you're thinking the coolant hydraulics?
Yeah,
No, no, so the PTO runs off the crank
yeah.
out to the pump that's in front on the frame,
Oh,
so it goes through the rad.
okay, so you're not just picking one of those up at Benson's?
No,
Okay.
it's gotta be, well, it's a normal rad, but just they cut it out and then they seal up all the routing in it, right?
What could go wrong?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so you're telling me that this truck is manufactured where the PTO goes through the rad, but the rad comes and it's a normal rad, and then they have to MacGyver it for the PTO. Okay,
They're all like this.
wow. Why wouldn't they just manufacture the rad for, you know what, forget it.
Because the truck's not, wasn't designed for that, right? So when the manufacturer, when we order the truck, it's built for a
It's, right,
plow truck.
okay. Okay,
Well, I've only been at this job a little over a year and, it's amazing how fast bad news travels. And I'll change the name and address to protect the innocent, but Mike from Baptist Church Road knew about the transmission, I think before I did. That's pretty amazing how that underground telegraph works.
it is it's the Underground Railroad, yeah.
Then is Tracy still on? or-
Yep.
We've lost her.
Oh.
We just lost her.
Lost connection, trying to get back on.
Oh, there's
Legion.
coming back right now.
On we go.
Oh, yeah, I guess that was the last
Yeah.
item. Oh, okay, sounds good. We already talked about the tenders and
Yep.
that comes this evening anyway, so sounds good. And then you just quickly read that, Jason, for the Legion request. It seemed like they're requesting for crack filling, hot patch, just kind of when we're going around like Wellington and yeah, pretty much Wellington and Queen there.
I was just there and it didn't look too bad, but I could see where they could use some touch-ups.
Because we've done sweeping
We did.
there,
Yes.
and I know we're scheduled to do sweeping there this year as well when we're doing the routes.
Yes,
The amount that the Legion does in this community, I
Oh,
think
100%.
it's absolutely something we should be doing for them.
And the thing is, we bought the hot patch machine, so when we're there, just
Yeah.
go through it and it's common sense approach, right? So.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it, Jason, and then
I vote yes.
we'll adjust it on future years.
Tracy, are you okay with that? A little hot patch in the Legion parking lot?
She's frozen again.
Oh, and she's having a nap.
Well, I thought that everybody else had it.
But either way, like, yeah, so when we're going through, that's fine.
Yeah.
Ed. So you'll get back to them in it and just let them know that we'll move forward with it.
Yeah,
And that'll be in conjunction,
But-
probably sweeping and then,
it'll just be whenever, like, the next time that the Public Works Department is in that area.
oh, yeah.
Yes,
Making a
yes.
step.
Oh,
Not a-
common
yes,
sense, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I'll let them know that.
yes, sir.
Yes.
Oh.
I think she said yes.
Perfect.
and she-
Well, we'll acknowledge that as a yes.
She sounds like a chipmunk.
Hey, my mouth is frozen.
You sounded like a chipmunk. You were like.
Besides that, Jason, anything else for us?
I don't know what you did.
Okay, perfect.
Yay.
Well, good luck with the plow truck and hopefully everything goes well tomorrow and go from there.
You can do.
Thanks, Jason.
All right, thank you.
Thank God you haven't needed it.
Daryl.
We have 5.
Yeah, we can take 5 minutes.
It really.
No, let's give it to Ned, actually. Ned, we'll take. We're good to go?
Yes.
Perfect. Daryl, thank you for joining us today.
So I guess we'll jump right in.
Perfect.
So the monthly, fire report. Since I've tabled my report, we've had 3 more calls. One grass fire last night, one today.
One at lunchtime.
Yeah, so. So we're up to actually 20. Well, this was in April. 2 are in April. Getting ahead of myself.
It's, you're still it's really not.
Yeah, if this continues, like we are in a level fire one van. If this continues. We may go into a level 2 and it may hold all summer.
At end of month 3, you've already had 50% of your calls from last year.
No,
No.
no,
Okay,
no. There were 17 last year. There were 95.
okay,
So,
But still,
but the trajectories are almost the same.
I see.
but you've had no snow, no rain.
All right.
So you're almost in that April, May, June timeframe as opposed to January, February, March.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And Daryl, there's no fault of messaging or anything, like you guys on Facebook are always putting everything
Yeah.
out, the
Yeah.
township's always putting out, it's just.
Yeah, short of, put some signs up on all the entrances into the township. We have rating signs, but unless we put a message on the bottom of it stating level 1 fire ban, campfires only, level 2 fire ban, no fires at all,
Yeah.
or no fire ban in effect. But then you're supposed to be watching the road, not reading signs. So
But
we try and do whatever.
don't throw cigarette butts out your window.
Well, that's too, I mean. Again, we discussed that, there's no after-raising vehicles, people go out the window, they
That's what
go.
water bottles are for.
So what we've done with the department, we are now called the Bonnechere Valley Fire Department, there's no more station designation. Reason being is that most of the firefighters, I say, with the exception of one, are in closer proximity to Eganville than they are to Point Mountain. So this is the move we're making, with the hopes that maybe we get some recruits up there. But, as of right now, most of the training, once the paramedics are out, all the training is gonna be done here.
Swimming stuff.
And we'll run up there for certain time, for certain months.
Yeah.
We do a truck rodeo, they got a room up there. You know, they have a sea can up there, where we can do live burns and stuff like that, but most of it's gonna be out here.
And you got a nice spread in the Eganville Leader about the junior firefighter program.
Yes,
Lovely.
it's actually, I received another application today.
Great.
That'll segue into my next one. It's been a hit. We have 7. 6 showed up last Wednesday. They're on tomorrow night. We went to the job fair at the high school last Tuesday. We had lots of interest, gave out a lot of applications, so we'll see how it goes.
But that was also for CBO as well, right? Didn't I read?
No, CBO one is coming up.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's on April 20. I read that as March 24th. My apologies.
No, it's coming up.
Okay.
So I'll speak to that later on. And we have had new hires. We interviewed 2 people. We were gonna extend employment, so I can offer to them. One gentleman. He comes from Hamilton Township. He was on the fire department down there for 5 years. He already has his fire 1.
Right.
He thinks he might have done fire 2, but not sure if he tested. I don't know, but anyways, I know the chief. It's Kelly Searson, and he moved from up to ACL. So I reached out to Kelly, see if he can give me some information. But he's a professional truck driver, he's got his DZ license, and he works for Whitewater Township, so he lives on Whitewater Road. So that's another person, so we have 2 more, so.
Oh, it's awesome.
That was awesome.
Where's Hamilton Township?
The Rice Lake, Peterborough, somewhere between 41 and Rice Lake.
Yep.
Or sorry, for 401, sorry, not 41. What's the Darlington power plant down there somewhere? Somewhere in that range?
On the, yes.
So the law, yeah.
So,
That's Clarington.
no, well, it is Hamilton Township. It touches Rice Lake.
So are they in Hastings?
He just told me it was Hamilton Township. I looked it up and it come up as municipality in Hamilton Township.
We'll leave this to Daryl.
Okay. No, I'm interested. I've never heard of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's stroke of luck for us to have him come up.
Yeah, he moved up here a few years ago and I guess I was talking to his wife one day and I was saying we're always looking. So, and then he finally popped up his application, so.
You might see, like, the thing is, you might see an uptick in future years, you never know, there's the trajectory in the area has changed so much, a lot of people are moving out, and thing is, people are also like. They watched enough Netflix during all your COVID years, that's like, they need something else to do, so they want to join the fire department.
Exactly. We can only hope.
And that, go ahead.
But like I said, we'll keep putting the message out that we're always looking, so.
Chris Colbert,
Okay,
Northumberland can,
it is Northumberland.
sorry.
Perfect,
Yeah.
carry on.
So our PAC 6, which is our provincial advisory committee, I always attend the meetings. That's where I was when I was talking to you the other day.
Yep.
We touch on a variety of topics. I just brought some back. The presumptive legislation and WSIB claims. That has to do with cancers in the fire service.
And PTSD.
While they talk more about the presumptive,
Really?
Yeah.
Well, presumptive is also PTSD.
yeah. They didn't really, they did touch on it, but not so much as this one.
Okay,
Because they, you know, there's 426 departments in the province and 60% of them are volunteers. And typically it's 50 to 60 cases a year, but they're all coming from the full-time service. Not to say that volunteers aren't affected by this, but they also have to consider that when they do retire and something happens down the road after retirement, they are still able to come back and get a WSIB claim. Challenge is, and this is what they brought up, is that if somebody is a known smoker, it could affect their claim. So it's, like I said, and
or if they're a mechanic or welder or anything
Yeah.
that works with copper,
yeah,
like,
Yeah.
there are so many,
they have probably a lot of outs.
oh, yeah.
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 So one thing they also talked about was a driver certification program. Is what's happening is volunteers that are going down, they changed the rules now, whenever you're going for your DZ. It used to be you did a circle check, now it's a major minor defects, and you have to say it verbatim, you can't miss one word. Wow, so the OAFC, which is Ontario's Association of Fire Chiefs, has been working with the MTO to come up with a driver certification program. And one of the things we need to do is have, so the OAFC is now the recognized authority, but we need to have somebody take a course for assigning authority. But fortunately for us, we have a firefighter that works for the MTO and drive test in Renfrew. So I posed the question to Mark McDonald, our representative, and said, we already have somebody that's signed off to do this. Do we need to send someone away? Because she's already there.
Okay, that's.
I know, I
That's
know.
not my,
I know why you're shaking your head. More
I
regulations,
just,
more red tape, more regulations.
She has a mayor's report later on, we'll let her go on.
I'm sorry, I
I know, sorry.
just can't.
I know.
Is that like, how new is that requirement?
It's been out for a few years now, and what's going on is they're going in and they're making it very difficult.
Yeah,
If you're a professional driver, that's different.
Yeah.
But if you're a volunteer, you wanna drive your big red truck, they're trying to make it, yes, that they're gonna train you up, but they wanna make it a little like easier way to get your license, because you're not in these trucks all the time. But the fact that we have somebody that works for drive test is a plus for us. And there may be an opportunity for us to let her work for other townships and create some revenue.
so you'll probably get a response back before your next meeting, probably.
Yeah, I'm hoping, yeah.
Yeah, that'll be good. Well, let us know how we can make that work.
From the ridiculous to the abid.
Yeah. I'm not bringing this to you just a needle.
You know, if I was in your
You are.
position, I would. Daryl.
No, I really do. I feel like he's going.
No, that's not-
I'm gonna bring something else from the Attorney General
No.
and Jen's gonna freak out.
No, actually, something came up at the meetings because they Mark McDonald asked us, all the chiefs were there, they said, would anybody like the OFM to show up and do a presentation? Nobody
I would.
put their hand in. So-
I-
I know,
Annette would.
So you'll probably have a response back, hopefully for that. for the
Yeah,
next-
yeah.
Next report, sounds good.
so another thing we touched on was the province in their wisdom was going to allow for up to 6-story multi-residential buildings, units to be built
Yeah,
with one means of egress.
Yeah.
Are you aware of that?
yeah.
Yeah, so they got it down to 4.
So, yeah, that, there was something in the, housing initiative where it was gonna be, yes, I had heard
Yeah.
that.
But there's all kinds of concerns that we as fire chiefs have. entry, exit,
Yeah.
one set of stairs. Set of stairs does not take up that much floor space. But they did drop it to 4, it's still a problem. There still should be 2 means of egress. So
Agreed.
they're fighting, they're gonna fight hard. The
Now,
OAFC is fighting it, so.
so does the building code at any time trump this legislation?
I guess it depends on who you ask.
I'm just saying, in my opinion, the building code would always
But-
be precedent over the fire service.
But the problem with the building code is just the bare minimum. It's what you,
Yeah.
bare minimum what you need to do to build.
For
Yeah,
your, but for them putting it in, is that just to be able to put closer proximity, like more densification? Is that what their intention is?
I think it's because
Like
of the
what
housing shortage, they're
Yeah.
trying to eliminate and get things up faster and.
Yeah,
But they don't realize a 4-story, unit could have up to 16 units and you can have anywhere from 6 to 10 people per unit because they're all cramming in, right?
absolutely, you could.
And then you have a major fire, how are all those people gonna get out with one set of stairs?
oh, yeah.
And how are the firefighters gonna advance with one set of stairs?
Mhm.
I get
He's
what,
just filled with good news today.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just curious on
Yeah.
what the basis was of.
So, and the last point I have was the MNRF, which is the Ministry of Natural Resources and Forestry. Because of the summer we're having. This is more good news, yeah. They've laid it on us, they're actually short 50 crews. And with that, they're short 50 crew bosses. So they are going to probably be relying on municipalities a little more until they get there and start it out. They just, because last year they were short staffed, that's why the restricted went on. Now, they may even expand the fire zone, like right now, it goes down somewhere 401, comes down to maybe Belleville and it starts cutting across, then you're in the fire zone, other than that, you're outside your fire zone, so you don't have to worry about it. But they say because of the fires are expanding and moving, they may start to increase the fire zone. But because they're so short-staffed, we can make
Those
a-
meetings that we had, whatever year that was. That was very interesting because every week they told us, these are the fires that are burning,
Mhm.
these are the people that were short-staffed.
Yeah.
So then it made it easier to explain, even on social media, when people were saying, why can't we have a bonfire, why can't we do?
Mhm.
Well, this is why.
Yeah.
And we heard it firsthand from MNRF.
But they don't want to go to a restricted, because once they do, then they are on they have to
Yes.
do enforcement.
Yes,
We'll still go and deal with the fires, and if it's their area, then they action us, and that's when it becomes lucrative. But for the most part, they're trying to manage it themselves, but they're predicting another year like last year, especially with the way the weather's going, so. So that's all the bad news out here.
No, that's good. Nice.
Now you can start on the good news.
Well,
what, they're not changing the building code or
that's coming.
they,
But that's gonna be, they're gonna amalgamate with the national at some point,
okay,
so
that does make
Yeah,
sense.
they're just trying to make
Yeah.
it universal.
Yeah.
they are gonna take SB 12 under the Ontario Building Code, which is energy efficiency, because we are supposed to be the leaders in that in
Right,
Ontario. So one thing that did show up, it's not on my report, but there's a $30 million grant coming from the OAFC, from the Ontario budget announcement. Maybe you're aware of it, yeah. So somebody figured it out. If they were to split it evenly,
Yeah.
everybody's gonna get 22,000 something.
yeah, I was
We
gonna,
know that's not gonna happen.
you'll get $7,218.
We already know this now?
No, I'm kidding, but I'm just saying. When, we were just talking with Daryl that, we had this water and sewer fund that was 200 million and now it's 850 million. And so when I saw that in the budget, I thought. Yeah. Go and buy yourself something pretty. Like,
All right, I'll see what I can do. So we'll go on to, that's it for fire. Any questions on fire?
Nope, straightforward.
All right. So we'll go into building. So my report is attached. Again, it's feeling lots of phone calls, well, but again, I don't know. It's hard to say. I just don't know. And there's lots of people coming in. I do have a couple of permits in my inbox. A lot of it's smaller stuff. There was a house coming eventually. I do have a couple houses, one house on the leak.
Yep.
Time will tell.
Yeah, I think in the next couple months we'll.
Yeah.
Like,
We'll start to see.
yeah, exactly.
So again, though, the pricing, everything.
Yes.
I mean, being right smack dab in the middle of a renovation, I cannot believe the prices of some things that I think I used to take for granted. Even something like a sink faucet,
Mhm. Yes.
it's really ridiculous.
I just changed up my furnace from oil to propane. And if I would have did it 4 years ago, it would have cost me a third of what I paid.
It is what it is.
So, and as for our, going into the high school, we are going in April 24th. We are meeting on Thursday, the 5 of us that have students in the school. We have a PowerPoint from the, OBOA that we're gonna present. We're also gonna talk about what led us down the path.
That's good.
Yeah,
I like
Yeah.
that, like real life
yeah,
experience, yeah.
Well, I think they know, and that makes sense then even for like the follow-up for like, I know like in the like Pembroke Algonquins, when they're doing their level 1, level 2, level 3 carpentry, for example, it's like hit up when they're doing their school consultation for the 40 new, say, red seals in the area. It's like even following up that point, even when they're year 3, we spend a lot of time, they're 30 years old when they're in year 3s,
Mhm.
doing it and stuff like that, just giving an option
Yeah.
for it as well, right?
Well,
Yeah, the
that's-
high school goes because, and then go from there.
Well, that's one of the things we'd like to suggest, they get some, go into the field itself.
Mhm.
And, as opposed to just coming out of high school, writing the exams, if you don't know building, then it becomes too black and white.
Well, oh, no, 100%.
Yeah.
It's just like, but no, like exactly, I think more people, it's the pathway to get to the CBO spot. And especially like in carpentry, a lot of guys are like, oh, their back's getting sore or whatever, there's
Yep.
an option, they have the experience for it.
Me.
Exactly, right? But it's providing the option for it and reducing like the red tape to get there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, and that's where I'm like, well, if you hit someone in year 3, then they already know the steps that in 10, 15 years that they can work towards that. Is like, and it depends on the need too, because you know, as a building official, like what section you need to be like, oh, I can do these school requirements prior to it, right? So it's just baby steps to get there, and then it won't be an issue finding them in the area.
And I believe the apprenticeships today are geared more towards the code. When I did mine back in the day, when I was a lot younger, we barely touched on the code.
No, it's back,
Yeah.
it's back to basics for
Yeah.
everything
Yeah.
you're seeing across the board.
Yeah, I think when I wrote my exam, when they gave me that much of the code, there was only a few questions on it.
Yeah.
Other than that, it was all the math and
Yeah.
so.
No, it's back to basics, right? So, no, it sounds good. Let us know how that goes at the high school.
Perfect, well, that's all I have.
Anything else?
Yeah, he ticked me off and now he's leaving.
Perfect.
No, I can stay if you want.
Well, you can listen in our
No,
office.
that's
You're
right.
an up talk, yes,
You're
Daryl. Yeah. Just put your earmuffs
In
on.
the safety zone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Besides that, it's a great day, Daryl.
Bye,
Thank
Daryl.
you.
Okay, we'll move on to correspondence, A. Anyone, any comments from anything from correspondence A?
No.
Perfect. Correspondence B. So when we move on to the OBTA sponsorship opportunities forum, I was just gonna say no.
Well, no, and no,
Yeah.
no, I think they're just putting it out to everybody.
Yep.
Yeah,
And then Enbridge request for support. Yes, that makes sense. So I support that. Is everyone good with that?
absolutely.
John,
Yep.
Tracy, is good with that?
Yes. Yep.
Perfect.
I also wanted to.
Was there the farmer's market?
No,
Or
oh,
the-
hang on, no, I wanted to do the resolution about the Heritage Act.
Oh, that's increasing it to 10 years
Yeah.
versus the 5? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine. We can support that. And then it
Yeah.
bumps the heritage to 2025 requirements to 2030 requirements.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I just thought if we, yeah,
It doesn't,
it doesn't hurt to do it.
no,
No.
that's fine.
So the Enbridge and the Heritage.
Yes.
Yeah, and then we had the request from the farmer's market. I would probably say as long as we're consistent, especially for June, no problem hanging it and us putting it up. They just have to provide the banner that's gonna work for that space. So it's consistent.
And you and Sarah have been over this with them, correct? Annette? Okay, so
So is the location in the parking lot across from the Home Hardware? Is that what? And
On the
No,
bridge.
it's on the bridge.
on the bridge proper.
No, like we're
Oh,
talking
just the
about,
banner.
it's just the banner that was
Sorry,
in the
I thought you meant we were
correspondence.
talking about the farmer's market. Got it.
No, it's
No.
number 8 in correspondence
That's when
B.
you use the farmer's market on the bridge.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
Okay, thank you.
no,
I'm
it's just a
sorry.
the
request.
MTO would not enjoy that.
So yes to that.
Besides that, I didn't have anything else.
Oh,
about-
the resolution about the restricting the keeping of exotic animals.
Oh, you're talking about the roadside zoos? one?
Yeah,
Yeah, there's 50 of them in Ontario, I think.
and I think that we should,
Resolution just to,
Yeah.
support, that's fine.
yeah.
Yeah, I guess in
And,
the
yes.
context of our area.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine. So now you can bring those forward to the next meetings. So you had correspondence number 9. Number 8, it was just saying the council's fine with hanging the banner as long as they provide one. Support for Enbridge
And 6, the heritage.
and then the heritage as well.
Yeah,
5, 6, 8, 9.
yeah, 5, 6, 8, 9. Did Tracy have anything? No, she's got her sunglasses on. She's incognito.
No, I don't have anything further. Thank you.
Correspondence C, we do not have anything. We should make a correspondence D. Is there such a thing?
No, there isn't.
Okay, we'll talk about that the next meeting.
We'll make a correspondence, Patrick.
Alright, perfect, even better. Mayor's report now, new unfinished business.
Hold on, up here.
So I tried to open that file on the agenda. There was nothing in it.
I,
Knew that was too good to be true.
my apologies, I wrote it over the weekend. So since my last report, I attended 20 meetings and a few events. Some of the highlights are as follows. At county council, as we just talked about, we reviewed some of the areas of the 2024 provincial budget. For impact to the county will include continued funding for RCV TAC. The path for funding for the new MESA program, 1 billion municipal housing infrastructure program, increase to housing enabling water and sewer fund. 200 million community support and recreation infrastructure. And we're gonna continue to advocate for Highway 17, which I feel like is just an ongoing, anyway. We also discussed the early warm weather combined with the early snow melt, obviously talking about grass and brush fires and sort of countywide people are implementing the level 1 fire ban. We also adopted a revised bylaw to establish and require payment of user fees and charges. The big change is that a $750 fee within Public Works and Engineering for speed and traffic review requests. So this would be if we requested a speed review on Highway 512, but we weren't willing to use one from 2 years ago that the county had already done, it would be a $750 charge. But they are all within 5 years. So that's the good news. Obviously homelessness within Renfrew County. We have an interdisciplinary collaborative team of county staff in partnership with community service providers. We're doing a housing first approach, and I will have, there are things in my report. We're looking at 20 units within the Pembroke area. It's really ambitious. Trying to look at the fall of 2024 for some of these units. There is a plan in place, and I will have a further report on it in the near future. Of note for us, Eganville Paramedic Base is ongoing. We're about 60% complete. And the warden, the CAO, Craig Kelly, and I conducted first rounds of interviews for the position of Director of Corporate Services. Second round interviews will be conducted in the next few weeks. Renfrew County and District Health Unit, as previously reported, we voted against the merger with North Bay Perry Sound. After exhausting the possibility of merging with other health units in Eastern Ontario, the board voted unanimously to investigate a partnership with the County of Renfrew. This would be a transformational collaboration between Renfrew County and District Health Unit and the County of Renfrew, City of Pembroke, and the Township of South Algonquin. It's mutually beneficial step toward improving the health and well-being of our communities, keeping local needs and the residents of our region at the center of our collective local decision-making. We propose the submission of an application to fund the exploration and creation of a business plan that supports local autonomy and capacity building through the alignment of Renfrew County and District Public Health Unit and the municipality of the Corporation of the County of Renfrew. And just as an asterisk, when we say the County of Renfrew, we do mean all stakeholders. So I always mean including the City of Pembroke and the Township of South Algonquin, which is very important. There are some clear strengths and some challenges. Obviously, I will have more very soon because we've definitely stacked some meetings. As you know, today would have been the drop dead date to announce that we were considering a merger. And so we believe that this pseudo merger could be very beneficial and in fact should show the province that it isn't necessary to merge if we can prove out that a partnership to help with things like HR, IT, maybe some finance that would help our public health would be very beneficial. And again, I will go on the record one more time to say the money being used for these mergers would be much better utilized in the hands of our public health units. And I'm going to beat that drum forever. I do have a very interesting white paper on this situation. If you'd like to see it, I am happy to email it out. It is something that was compiled originally in 2017 when I was the warden actually, and continued on until 2019, and then COVID hit. And so we've taken it off the shelf, dusted it off, made it more current. Of course, there were some things in it that were actually incorrect because times have changed. But it is very interesting and really shows how the county could make this very viable. And we should be in a position, from my standpoint, to receive funding. I'm going to beat the drum on that as much as I can. I don't think it's fair nor equitable for those of us in rural and northern Ontario to be penalized for not merging when it doesn't affect urban centers. And realistically, RCDHU has been, of those 20 meetings, I think RCDHU was 8. So just it's not for lack of constant conversation with the entire board, and very interesting what's coming out of board members that aren't political, that, you know, they believe, yes, we're in the healthcare business, not necessarily the money business. And if this is what the province is going to do, if we don't merge, there's a problem and we need to speak out about it. It's on the elected to deal with this. So those were my two kind of heavy things this month. I had EORN budget, EORN. We didn't have a Roma meeting this month, but lots of meetings, but those were the two heaviest and the two that I was focused most on. Events, Bonnechere Valley Easter egg hunt was a great event in McCrae Park. I know your kids loved it. Thank you to Sarah and Annette for organizing, and a big thanks to our Easter Bunny who posed with the kids for photo ops. It was my honor to drop the puck with Terry and Donna Sharp and Monique from the Robbie Dean Center at the Lisa Sharp Memorial Hockey Tournament. Proceeds from this tournament go to the Robbie Dean Center to aid in mental health support for youth and young adults. Also of note, the Ottawa Valley Concrete and Murphy's Auto Service Team won. So, yeah, that was one of our sponsorships. This is very important to me. Terry and my dad served on Toronto Police together for many, many, many years. So there's a personal aspect to this as well. On Friday, March 29th, Councillor Sanderson and I attended the Good Friday prayer walk facilitated by Reverend Claire Brama. It was a multi-denominational prayer hour and was very well attended. And it was one cold, windy day for us to be out there. Notations and prayers were said at St. James the Less Catholic Church, the Eganville Legion Branch 353, the Professional Building, Trinity Down Counseling, the Eganville Clothing Bank, the Training and Learning Center, the Eganville Food Bank, the tourist booth, and included the Bonnechere Union Public Library and the township office. Prayers were said for our council, township staff, and our first responders as follows. A place that serves in the daily administration of the township and that serves people in times of emergency. A place we rely on for the physical well-being and integrity of our community. Let us pray. Ever-living God, source of all wisdom and understanding, be present with those who take counsel for this Bonnechere Valley Township. Help our elected leaders to be trustworthy and wise in their decisions for the general welfare of the community. Almighty God, source of all strength and skill, be present with all those who serve as first responders in this township and county. Help them be capable and effective in their actions to preserve life and limb in times of emergency through Jesus Christ our Lord, strong to save. Amen. And this concludes my report. And Tracy, I have goosebumps again. Did you want to add anything?
No, I just that, the mention and support and prayer for council and how we serve in our community, it was really humbling. I wasn't expecting that because that's not always the feedback we would get, so yeah, it was a bit of a tearjerker.
Yeah, I think we both teared up, and it wasn't the wind.
No,
No, it was,
not the wind.
it was very thoughtful, number one, but it was very, it was interesting to be recognized in prayer, I think. And on such right, and on such a beautiful holy day.
Yeah.
So
Well, it's nice to hear that it's really well attended as well.
it was very well attended. Now, people kind of came and went. It was a walk,
Yeah.
and it was very cold and very windy,
Mhm.
but people came and went as they could.
Mhm.
But yes, very well attended.
No, that's perfect. Any questions for the mayor?
And I can report on all my meetings if you want, but some of them aren't, they're not necessarily noteworthy or.
No, it's straightforward.
Okay,
Actually,
but I can,
I was gonna say that the person that was in the bunny costume actually was really well did really well with kids. Like you see a lot of, I guess, I don't know, a lot of people in costumes and.
Mascot.
Mascot.
Yeah.
They had a very good personality for, which is just like they kept going up. They're really kid friendly. Which
yes,
is really nice to see in our community and stuff. So,
he's very good with the kids.
yeah, no.
Yeah,
No, I appreciate it. I know my kids had a lot of fun and a lot of fist bumps and stuff like that. And it's just nice seeing our communities. It's such a big drive
yeah.
and stuff so you see programs like that. It's the same as Sarah's. Just reach out to people and they need even more eggs for next year and then we'll just make it a bigger event. So
There wasn't much hiding of the eggs. It was sort of placing of the eggs.
you know what? It's nice to see when you see how many families are in the area.
Oh,
and
yeah.
That's just a minuscule part too, right? So it's really
New families.
Yeah, no, a lot of new
Yeah.
families, a lot of grandparents bring their kids as well, right?
Yeah.
It's an opportunity it's such a good spot to put it in Grace.
It
so.
is.
No, I just thought it was a great event and it's
Yeah.
nice to have that. Perfect, so we'll move on to 8.2, reminder, we have public meeting at 5:15, 5:20 for road allowance and the shoreline allowance and purchases, and that sent out the Zoom details for those.
Yes.
Police service board update, Sandra, and anything, because Merv's not in, so. Nothing for,
Merv's not in, we haven't had,
haven't had one.
A
we haven't
PSP.
had a meeting, and
Yeah.
now we're moved to the detachment, so it's the Killaloe Detachment Police
Yeah.
Service Board, so there will be a resolution coming this evening
Yeah.
to reappoint Merv, but to the new board.
Okay,
Now I did put a second, sentence in the resolution because the mayor always has the opportunity to be an ex officio member of committees.
Yeah.
And attend. And so, if Merv is not back with us when they call their first meeting, I don't think they've even had a meeting yet. then, you know, we have somebody else to at least attend the first meeting. There's still, the ad is out. I put it in the package. They're still looking for their public and their provincial appointments. And all of the different, they're just collecting all of the resolutions from the various municipalities and Pikwakanagan to basically create the new board.
Yeah.
So,
It's gonna
and
be a big board.
No, it is, well, based on the
Well, with
numbers.
seven, when you're talking 7 municipalities,
Yeah.
that's gonna be a big board.
yeah, so right now it's Killaloo that's, because they were the ones involved with the CPAC, which was sort of everybody else,
Yeah.
and we were on our own. Sandra was running our police service boards. So they're continuing to take, the reins.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but, you know, we may be putting it to the council member to do reports. I don't know if they'll have, there'll be some costs, obviously, to putting the ad out that will be split with everybody.
Okay,
That we'll have to pay, and then going forward, they'll have to determine what the board is there an honorarium, if they're not, what's, you know, I know the province is separate, they set their, they do their appointees and they have their costing system in place, so, anyway, we'll see how it goes, but,
sounds good. So that'll be the next couple months that they're gonna
Yeah.
probably have the meetings then, okay?
that's,
Sounds good.
that's our hope, but we're not, like, we're participating and,
Just
you know,
waiting and seeing.
But we
Send
had to have a
email.
meeting by June. Sorry, Sandra, did I dream that up?
Again, we're not in charge, so to speak.
Yeah.
We're participating in the meetings and we're taking the information.
You're not the
that-
boss of it.
We're not the boss, that Killaloo is passing on to us, because they're sort of taking the lead as they did with the CPAC, so,
Okay.
as information becomes available, you know, we'll bring it to council, but yeah, we're, now that our own police service board is no
Defunct.
more, yeah, then we're,
Well, it is in my wheelhouse and I'm happy to serve.
Sounds good.
I only lived it for 43 years of my life.
Oh, that's fine.
and it's possible they won't meet until June and.
I thought we had to meet by the end of June. I
It
don't
is
know where-
possible. I haven't read that in any of the material that Tammy has sent me, but that doesn't mean.
Sounds like an
that's-
April 16th
Oh,
update
yeah.
or next
Yeah,
report.
no problem.
No, but I think they wanted us all to have a meeting before we all ran away for summer. I think that was the idea.
That's
Or
possible.
maybe somebody just, I
Maybe
don't
somebody
know,
just suggested
maybe I'm
that.
just making stuff up now.
But Sandra did send out correspondence to our members of our current or past, I guess.
To say
police
that-
Service board,
Yeah.
thanking them for their services and letting them know that, yeah,
Okay.
so.
Sounds good. John, you had a question?
So the advertisement that's aimed at obtaining the 2 community members.
Mhm.
So the provincially appointed members, what would be an example of a past provincially appointed member?
Carol Tracy.
So Gerald Tracy was our.
Okay, so he'll be a community member, but goes through a different route to find his way.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Sounds good. Okay, police service board. Then 8.4, Bonnechere River Watershed Standing Advisory Committee update.
Were you able to attend that, John?
no, I had a call at noon that day.
Okay,
Oh, I
okay.
wish you'd told us. I would have gone.
I'm sorry. It was on call, so I just got the call from the OBB and
Okay, if that happens, can you
give
just
you a call right away.
let somebody know, and one of the challenge is if there's something to vote on,
Yeah,
we need representation.
Okay.
Yeah,
Now, Jack would have been in attendance as the generations, and he can't vote because he's not part of it.
no, and he expected me to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had already given my saying that I was going to be there, so.
But he was in attendance, so, you know, we can sort of ask him what was voted on, or if anything, you know,
Okay.
are any further meetings coming up,
But-
or is
Yeah,
that-
just reach out next time.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Fine. Because ones like those are important not to
yeah.
miss, obviously.
Yeah.
Is- Like I'm fairly flexible on my end, so like last minute, if you need to
Especially
step
'cause it's
in,
June,
that's
yeah.
fine.
Yeah, but if you know that you're on call and you have a meeting that day, let us know in the morning that you're on call and we might be on deck.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah,
Sorry. It wasn't a meeting, it was a death, so it was,
yeah.
it was,
Yeah.
couldn't turn it down, but you're right. I should have gone.
No,
to you.
no, you can't turn it down.
I'm learning.
Yeah,
Okay.
but just so we have a vote at the table.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good point. I've learned.
Okay, 8.5 Legion request. we've already done that.
Yep.
Done.
April
Establish next
16th.
meeting, April 16th, 1:30 PM. Perfect, media session, they can reach out. We do have a closed session.
Yeah.
So again, where's that? Right here.
Got it. 239.2 of the municipal act.
Yep. Committee proceed in a closed session in accordance with the Municipal Act 2001, section 239.2, deal with the matters as indicated below. Personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees. Could please have a mover?
Get Tracy on the.
Tracy, you wanna move that? Perfect. All those in favor?